I'm really glad we came here tonight. This place is beautiful. I heard their jollof rice is amazing. You should totally try their signature cocktail. Welcome back. I hope your day has been lovely. Now, let's continue from where we stopped in the last episode. When he had his way with me, I didn't even scream or show any emotion. I just lay there quietly and accepted my fate. One Monday afternoon, I sneaked out of the house and met up with my school friend. She asked me why I hadn't been coming to school for months. I told her about what a friend of mine was going through. I didn't want her to know that I was actually talking about myself. I asked her if her parents were doing the same to her, and she said no. When I discovered that no parents were doing that to their children, I doubted my identity because I know that no parents will ever do that to their children. How sure was I that they were really my parents? From that moment, I made it my goal to find out the truth about my identity because deep down, I knew something was not right. I started watching my mom and dad closely. I listened in on their conversations, and little by little, everything started to make sense. And it dawned on me that I wasn't their biological daughter. But I didn't want to jump to conclusions. I needed concrete evidence to prove that I was right. So I kept listening in on their conversations and watching them closely. Then one day, I finally caught them. That was the day I discovered the whole truth. These people are monsters. And honestly, I don't even think jail is enough for what they did. One night, my dad was getting ready to come into my room when I overheard my mom telling him. My mom said to my dad, "Don't you think we've done enough? I'm beginning to feel guilty and I've been having terrible dreams lately. I honestly don't know how I've been able to live with myself all this time." My dad stared at my mom with so much anger in his eyes and said, "Woman, let this be the last time we have this discussion. If you want to feel guilty, that's your business. But don't you ever bring up this topic again. And let me remind you, you were the one who came up with this idea in the first place. I remember how you persuaded me, how you begged me, and how you convinced me to go ahead with your plan. So don't stand there now and tell me it's high time I stopped. We started this together and we're going to see it through to the end." My mom bowed her head in shame when she heard this. My dad got dressed, and as he approached the door, I quickly ran back to my room and locked the door. There was no way I was going to let him touch me again after what I had just discovered. Not anymore. I knew I had to take a stand. I had to take back control of my own life. All night, I stayed awake, waiting to hear a knock on my door. But my dad never came. Around 4 a.m., I finally fell asleep. But by then, I had already made up my mind. Things had to change in that house, and the change had to start with me. So by 6 a.m., I was the one who woke everybody up for morning devotion. Everybody knew I didn't even like praying. But that morning, I was the one calling everyone for prayer. Everybody gathered in the parlor. My mom and dad looked at each other, and I could see the surprise on their faces. I couldn't really explain the expression in their eyes, but my mom especially couldn't take her eyes off me. She kept looking at me as if she was trying to figure out whether I knew something, and I could tell she wasn't comfortable with it. Smiled, and told everyone to open their mouths as we began singing choruses. As we were singing, I looked at my mom and asked her to read Ephesians 6:4 from the Bible. She hesitated at first, but when she noticed my sister and my son staring at her, she opened her Bible and began reading the passage. As she read every line, she kept looking at my dad. Then I asked her to explain what she understood from it. She quickly looked at my dad, her mouth slightly open, but she didn't say anything. She simply ignored my question. So I turned to my dad and asked if he could explain the passage. He also ignored me. At that point, I decided to explain the Bible passage myself. I knew they weren't going to say anything about it, so I decided to put my first plan into action. The Bible passage is saying that parents, especially fathers, have authority over their children, but that authority must be exercised responsibly. Parents should not use their position to crush and intimidate their children. Instead, they should guide, correct, teach, encourage, and nurture their children with love. And this leads me to ask them a very important question. Mom and Dad, have you truly treated your children the way a parent should? Have you guided them with love, corrected them with wisdom, and nurtured them instead of discouraging them? My dad suddenly stood up from his chair, clearly angry, and said to me, "What arrant nonsense is all this?" I simply looked at him and smiled. I didn't say a word. He angrily stormed out of the parlor. My mom stared at me, her face filled with confusion, as if she couldn't understand what had just happened. After a moment, she quickly stood up and followed my dad out of the parlor. I looked at my sister. She was obviously feeling sleepy, so I gently told her to go back to bed, that we were done with prayers. Then I carried my son to his room and laid him back in bed. My first goal had been accomplished. I never wanted to pray. I never wanted to lead the prayers in the first place. My intention was simply to make my parents confront the contradiction in their actions. I needed to show them how they could hurt their own child, and then come out to pray as though nothing had happened. I kept asking myself, What kind of God are they praying to when their actions contradict the very values they claim to believe in? They were simply hypocrites. That night, I continued my investigation. Around 11 p.m., I quietly left my room and overheard my dad accusing my mom of exposing them. He couldn't understand how I had suddenly become so confident, speaking as though I knew exactly what they had been doing. He kept wondering how I could have known so much if my mother hadn't told me the truth, or at least given me some kind of hint. My mom kept insisting that she had no idea where I got the information, or the confidence I had spoken with that night. She repeatedly told him that she had never given me any hint about what they had been doing. This is the beginning of their downfall. See you guys in my next episode. Bye-bye!